Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
You finally have made it. You have made it. And I feel like you're deserving of something. Some type of award, right? I mean, everyone gets a trophy nowadays. Doesn't matter if you go 4-13 or what it is that you do. Hand out trophies. You, Jaguar fans, I think you deserve something because you've made it to draft week. And let's be honest about this. It's been a real easy travel since that final game. And in all of my years being here, from 96 on, it's one of the most remarkable turnarounds that I can ever remember. And it exists, and it grows, and it grows, and it's great. And I'm telling you right now, I love it for you. I do. I see joy in people's eyes. I see the excitement, again, of a football team that was just awful. Just terrible. And Doug Peterson gets fired on Black Monday, and it's expected by everyone. You know, the Trent Baalke situation was just so poor. I mean, it just reeks of an organization that really is clueless. And then 2.5 weeks later, after you and all of your folks, all your friends walking around like it's a Walking Dead edition, a Walking Dead episode. He's fired. He's gone. Then all of a sudden it's like 80 degrees and sunny, and there's a brand new life ahead for Jaguars fans. And you made it through the second half of January and February and March. Here we are, the 21st day of April, and this thing has just flown by. And we get to the week of the draft, and it feels like it's new. It feels like, is there really a possibility that this is it? That this could be the right hires? If you look at the 30 years of this franchise where games have been played, yes, we're into the league year, number 31 for the Jaguars. But what have they gotten right? If you look at general managers, if you look at VP of the team, Tony Baselli's new role, head coaches, where? I mean, it's a very short list. Tom Coughlin, sure. I mean, who else? Are we going to brag about Jack Del Rio around here? You're going to brag about Mike Mularkey around here? You're going to brag about Gus? You're going to brag about Doug Marrone? You're going to brag about Urban Meyer? You're going to brag about Doug Peterson? Are you going to brag about Gene Smith? You're going to brag about Shaq Harris? You're going to brag about Dave Caldwell? You're going to brag about... There's just not a lot to celebrate. But all of a sudden, they walk through the door. Cohen, Gladstone, and Baselli. And it's like, maybe, just maybe, this is the combination that turned this thing around. I think they added 4, possibly 5 starters in free agency. I love the vibe. I love that it's all about getting tougher, getting more physical in the ditch. The offensive line was a total, absolute embarrassment. And they have gone out and added 4 new pieces to this offensive line. And it feels like nothing's guaranteed. Even a former first-round, former second-round pick, when you look at Anton Harrison, you look at Walker Little, yeah, the expectation is they're your right and left tackle as starters. That is expected, but is it guaranteed? If one of these veterans all of a sudden shows up and has an unbelievable camp, a lot of range with these veterans too. Guys who have played multiple offensive line positions. So it does. It feels good, and I'm fully engrossed in it all. Really loving what's happening, and here we are, the week of the draft. And Jacksonville is such, in an interesting situation here, because for starters, we don't have any idea what this new threesome is going to do. I think we all have our opinion on what we believe they're going to do. But there isn't any patterns. There's no trends, right? Is James Gladstone going to be a guy who trades an awful lot? Trent Baalke traded a tremendous amount, right? Is Liam Cohen as an offensive-minded coach? Is he pounding the table saying offense, 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 offense? How do you take on this new job and understand you're responsible for everything now, which includes defense and special teams? Tony Boselli, offensive guy by trade. Obviously a great eye when it comes to the offensive line. I would think that that's the one part of all of this scouting where Boselli has more say. Obviously he knows a ton about football, but he's never done this before. I mean, this is new to him, being an evaluator of talent. He's been an analyst of talent, like I am, right? He's been a great analyst for years and years and years. Now he's an evaluator. Now he becomes a decision maker. So this is all so new, and there's a lot of stuff that's out there today. You look at what Tom Pelissero is talking about, where the Jaguars could possibly be involved in a trade with the Chicago Bears, one team at number 10, the Cowboys at number 12. He brings up the fact that the Raiders at 6 right now love Genty, and that Dallas or Chicago may be forced to trade up with the Jags at number 5 in order to force a change. You know, where I'm at right now, I think I can be bought. I do. There's not a total love affair with me for anyone at number 5. I've never been in the Mason Graham camp. I may live to regret that. And if Jacksonville selects him, I hope I regret that. Okay? But I've just never been in his camp, as you have to make that selection at number 5. And the Travis Hunter stuff's not going to work. All right? The Abdul Carter stuff's not going to work. It doesn't even look like the Will Campbell stuff is going to work. I mean, everyone out of New England now saying that is where the LSU offensive lineman is going at number 4. You know, it gets you to Genty. And the more that I sit around and think about this, the more convinced that I am that you need the best impact from a player that you can get at number 5. I don't believe that this is happening, and I hopefully will not have to witness this happening. And when Dave Caldwell got here, man, I mean, you just go through the Mike Mularkey year and you go through Gus Bradley. I mean, they built that thing really, really slow. They had a ton of money. They didn't spend it. You know, it was a building process where at that point you didn't have a quarterback until you brought in Blake Bortles. And, of course, he caught lightning in a bottle the one year and went to the AFC Championship game. But I think this is different. This is such a dysfunctional division. Look at the problems in the AFC South. There's no reason why Jacksonville can't make some really good decisions beginning on Thursday night and go on out and win the AFC South this year. Now, I'm not going to guarantee that. I'm not going to say that I expect that to happen. And obviously, I wouldn't make any sort of, prognostication on it until after the NFL draft. That's just obvious. But Genty's the guy that makes you a better football team than anyone else in this draft coming up in 4 nights. That's my opinion. Genty does at 5. But if you feel as though he doesn't live up to, or the position doesn't live up to the 5th pick in the draft, I get it. I would have no problem at all with them trading out. None whatsoever. And the latest that came in from Tom Pelissero with NFL Media, I think is just absolutely spectacular. I mean, the Jags give up the 5th pick in the draft. They get Chicago's 10th pick. So you're losing 5 spots. You also give up the 107th pick. And on top of that, you get the Bears' 41st pick. So you get a high pick in round number 2. If that was to happen, Jacksonville would have the 10th pick in the draft, the 36th pick in the draft, the 41st pick in the draft, the 70th pick in the draft, the 88th, and the 107th pick in the draft. You would have 5 out of the top 88 picks in the NFL draft. You would have 6 out of the top 107 picks. That is where you're going to win. It's all going to be measured with your first-round selection, right? But if you can get starters at 10, 36, 41, 70, 88, 107. I'm not talking about starters week 1 in September of 2025. Maybe 1 or 2 starters initially. But I'm talking about guys that are a part of this plan and are eventually into the fold. And they get better as time goes by. That is how you're going to be a really good franchise. If they do not love the pick at 5, and this is just one man's opinion in Tom Pelissaro throwing out this trade. I love going from 5 to 10. I think that is absolutely fantastic. And again, you're gaining the 41st player in the draft. I mean, at 10, 36, and 41, you should be able to add 3 really good football players. So we keep on hearing, there's not as much of a change from 20 to 80. As a matter of fact, Destin Adams is the one who said that. He's going to join us coming up here in about 10 minutes. We're going to get the very latest. He has some news and some nuggets, and he's not all in on the Genty situation. I read what he put out a little bit earlier today. It's one of the reasons why I called him, but wanted to get his input on what he does believe this football team is going to do. And when I look at impact and I look at Genty, if they pulled the trigger there, just think about the splash in this city, even for those who were down on it. Once you accepted it, I think you'd love it, okay? And people are going to say, no. You need more defense. They were 31st in total defense. They were last in pass defense. They were 26th in points scored, 18.8 a game. You bring in Genty and you're able to run the football. Remember last week when Liam Cohen met with us? He talked about how in Tampa, they were number 1 in short yardage, right? And Cohen really explained it, that it wasn't just lining up, the tough men, like when they had Mike Allstott and run them on 3rd and 1. No, they did a variety of different things. I mean, that's a thick playbook that Cohen has. But, we talk about him in the screen game. We talk about him on 3rd and short. These are things that he absolutely believes in, and that was so neglected by the former franchise. Actually, the screen game was okay in Doug Peterson's first year, particularly during the second half of the season, but it was so incredibly predictable. It's like they only ran 1 or 2 different varieties of the screen game, and last year Jacksonville on 3rd and 1, just over 50%. You can't have that. So you add Genty, that is going to certainly improve. And, it also makes Travis Etienne expendable. You're not going to get anything for Etienne. You probably get a 6th-round pick, maybe a 7th-round pick, somewhere in that neighborhood. I just don't think you're going to get it, even though he's a former first-rounder. That's the way the league is today. So it's going to be a great week. It really is, and I'm fired up about it just like you are. Going to be with you here each and every night from 6 until 8. That'll be the deal tonight. That'll be the deal tomorrow night. And Wednesday night, then I'll join Caroline and Hacker. And that'll be the show Thursday, 4 to 7, leading up to the NFL draft. So, this week's going to fly by. I hope you'll just sit back and enjoy it. I do believe it is going to be a blast. All right, I'm fresh back from Jamaica, and I am ready to go. Great 4 days spent there, but I'm ready to rock. I knew I would be back in town for the week of the NFL draft. No other way around it. And again, I think this is one of the great weeks of the year. All right, thank you to Shmunez Vision. Technology and cataract surgery. That can be a little bit of, let us say, some tomfoolery, right? Don't be dazzled into paying for laser-assisted cataract surgery or any of these new unnecessary add-on charges that are all part of what is going on if you do have a scenario with a cataract. All right? Just because you have it doesn't mean you need surgery. Just because you need surgery doesn't mean it has to be with the latest technology. There are several different ways to look at this, and that's one thing that's great about Shmunez Vision. They want to help you save money, so make sure you ask them the next time that you visit. Better yet, set up an appointment. The pollen continues to be brutal. If you're dealing with allergies, I hate it for you. But visit Shmunez Vision. They will tell you immediately whether it's an allergy or it's something else. That is why they are your one stop for everything that is your eye care. Visit Shmunez Vision online. You can also go to Instagram and get Shmunez Vision and all of the testimonials there. All right, best way to join us, text line 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. This week is going to be absolutely outstanding. Let's keep it with the NFL draft. Coming up next from A to Z Sports, Destin Adams goes into the night with Rick Ballou.
The night is darkest just before the dawn. I promise you, the dawn is coming.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser, your Dawn Rangers. Mornings on 1010XL.
Attention Florida homeowners, for 1 month only. Save big with Renewal by Anderson. Get $300 off every window and $825 off all patio doors. Plus, call now and ask about our brand new Ensemble entry door system. But hurry, this limited time offer won't last. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com today to schedule your free design consultation. That's bestwindowsflorida.com. Renewal by Anderson, your trusted window and door experts. Superior products, exceptional service. License number CGC 1527613.
Hey, Hicken here. Tired of glasses or contacts? Discover customized vision solutions at Bowden Eye & Associates. Dr. Bowden's team offers cutting-edge options like Evo implantable Collamer lenses or refractive lens exchange and classic LASIK, designed to fit your life. Picture perfect vision for reading, driving, or just enjoying the day. It's easier than you think. Call now for your free screening. Bowden Eye & Associates, they're keeping the First Coast focused.
Need a fast casual option that's healthy, fresh, and delicious? Choose the Great Greek Mediterranean Grill. Gyros, salads, hummus, and more made completely fresh right as you order. Off 210 and St. John's Parkway. The Great Greek Mediterranean Grill.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. There was a time when if you handed me a bread basket at a restaurant, you better watch your fingers. Pizza, pasta, bread. Carbs were absolutely my weakness. I'd be lying if I said they didn't have me hooked. Then Awaken 180 came into my life. I've been down every diet road there is, but this is different. It's not just another diet. It's a total reset of how you see food. You know that carb craving that we all accepted as normal? That's gone for me now. Don't get me wrong. I still enjoy the good stuff, but here's the difference. I no longer feel like I need them. So when the server puts that bread basket on the table, I just smile, sit back, and say, nah, I'm good. That feeling of control is all thanks to Awaken 180. I lost 40 pounds in 9 weeks on Awaken 180. Hacker lost more than 110. Ballou is on his way, and you can lose whatever you want to lose. It doesn't matter what your goal weight is. Awaken 180 weight loss will get you there quickly and safely. It's a clear path to success without disappointment. Awaken 180 has changed my life, and it will change yours too. Give them a call at 844-346-1800 or go to awaken180weightloss.com. Trust me, you'll thank yourself.
Don't miss the Bari Breakdown with Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays around 3:20 for the latest in sports injuries. From all the big names in the game, who's MIA, who's coming back from injury. Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays at 3:20.
All right, gentlemen, we've trained for this. We've battled the elements. But if there's one thing we can't afford, it's letting the heat take us out before the big game.
But, Coach, the AC at my house is busted. I barely got any sleep last night.
Well, Johnson, you should have called Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. They're the real MVPs. Now let's cue the cool music.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. The coolest cats in town.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the trumpet call heard round the world. Experience the thrill of the Kentucky Derby at Best Bet. Saturday, May 3rd, witness the most exciting 2 minutes in sports and dive into the action with live wagering. This could be your lucky day. Mark your calendars and join us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine on May 3rd for the Kentucky Derby. Visit bestbetjacks.com for more details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Open early and open late. Dailies is always there, making things easy for you to cruise in and cruise out. So hit Dailies Cold Case the next time you're craving a cold one. Bud Light by the case. Plus plenty of singles to choose from. Corona to the King of Beers to Stella or a Natty. They're all cold at Dailies.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars voluntary minicamp going on right now at the Miller Electric Center, which is the best facility in professional sports, period. Now, Miller Electric and the Miller Electric Company, they've been around for more than 96 years, and they are hiring right now. Why are they hiring? Well, everywhere you drive in Jacksonville, what do you see? More building. More people want to move here. They're coming from all across the country and perhaps other parts as well to live right here in Duval. So if you want to work for a company that takes on the biggest projects in the city, offers you a chance to showcase your skills on the grand scale, Miller Electric believes in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture. Check them out online. Go to Miller Careers. That's millercareers.com. All right, let's bring in our buddy Destin Adams as we sneak even closer to the National Football League draft. Of course, Destin is with A to Z Sports NFL, and good to have you back, Destin. Going to be a fun week, no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah. It feels like it's been years in this draft cycle. I feel like it's every year. I'm still a big person that feels like the draft cycle needs to be shortened a bit because it's just going on forever.
Okay. The Genty situation has really picked up a lot of steam here in Duval the last couple of weeks, and now it feels like it's growing a little bit nationally. You don't subscribe to that 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the more and more this buzz is coming out, the more I've reached out to people that I trust on the Genty front across the league. And just about everyone that I've reached out to seems pretty skeptical on it. That's not to say it won't happen. I just feel like there's just other players that are connected to Jacksonville that I keep hearing louder. It'll be interesting to kind of see. It feels like more and more teams are getting connected to Genty. And if you ask me, it's really starting to feel like there's just more and more teams that are trying to get someone to trade up with them to be the one to take Genty. And that's the rumor that I'm putting out there that I feel like it's happening.
Is that maybe if you were a better, the best option right now, that Jacksonville actually does trade out of number 5?
I mean, in this draft, there's just not been a lot of buzz for people being willing to come up and pay that premium price. So if you can find a team that wants a guy enough and sees anybody in this class as warranting the trade up into that top 10 range that it would take, I think I would take the package. When you're looking at Jacksonville specifically, I feel like to take a running back that early, like I really feel like it needs to be something that your running game just desperately needs it. I feel like Jacksonville has 2 talented running backs on the roster already, and to add another one in the mix when they have other holes. If I were Jacksonville, I would rather look to find someone to trade up and be the team to take Genty in front of the Raiders, for example, than being the team to take Genty. But that's me at the end of the day.
Yeah, I remember you telling us a while back that the wide range in this draft with not a lot of first-round grades, but 20 to 80 is not significantly different. You look at that NFL media report today that would give Jacksonville number 41 along with number 10 from Chicago. If they do that, then all of a sudden it's 10, it's 36, it's 41, and it's 70. You have 4 picks in the top 70. I mean, Jacksonville's in position there to get some really good football players.
Exactly. And you're still going to get a really good football player at 10. And when you're looking at the fact is, if you are like me and if you don't think Jacksonville is going Genty at 5, and you're looking at who they could take there, is the difference between who they take at 5 and the difference of who they could take at 10 that significant?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because to me, I'd rather drop back to 5 spots, get those 2 extra potential picks, and just gain those assets. Because like you said, the more picks you can have in that top 100, top 80 range in this class, like I really feel like that's where like the money is in this class. You don't want to have too many late day 3 picks in this class, and I really feel like it's not the best year to have these premium top 15 picks.
Destin Adams, our guest, A to Z Sports, NFL, joining Rick Ballou here on the home of the Jaguars. All right, if they went to 10, is this where Tet McMillan comes into play?
I think that's one that I've heard a lot. I've heard Jacksonville is one of the teams that's higher on him. He's a bit of a polarizing prospect across the league. There are teams that are significantly lower on his ability to separate at the next level, and then there's some teams that just don't think it matters because they've seen guys that have that body frame, have that ability to high point the football and make 50-50 balls more like 70-30 balls. And if you have success with that kind of receiver, and you feel like you can scheme them into your game, like they can be very valuable. And Liam Cohen's a guy that I feel like has had success with multiple different kinds of receivers now in his college, his NFL careers. And he's had success with guys that aren't just burner speed guys.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't shock me at all when I've heard that they're a team that likes McMillan quite a bit. And you could make the argument that it may be more cost efficient for Jacksonville to take him at 10 than it would be to take him at 5.
Yeah, no doubt. We met with James Gladstone early last week and Liam Cohen as well. And I was under the impression that Gladstone has red flagged a lot of these prospects. Fair or unfair, that clip on McMillan about not loving football, not watching a lot of film, not watching the game. I mean, I look at the intangibly rich comments that Gladstone makes all the time and improving the ecosystem. And I read something from Tony Baselli last week about finding people who love football and are also good football players. Do you think that clip could hurt McMillan to where maybe he does free fall a little bit in the first round?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great choice of words for the kid, that's for sure. And I think more and more we just see less of these kids taking these just random X, Y, and Z interviews where they're put on a mic just because of these opportunities that they can kind of tank themselves. I think at the end of the day, that interview is only going to hold so much weight to where these teams have been able to meet with these guys at the combine, meet with them at their pro days, meet with them, bringing them into the building. I know Jacksonville and Gladstone aren't as big on the top 30 aspect of things compared to other teams. But being able to just make your own opinion on these guys is one of the most important parts of this entire cycle.
Yeah.
And I don't think if anyone met with McMillan and came away with positive opinions on his character before that video release, I do not think that video would tank how they felt about their personal meeting.
Yeah, really my only issue with him was separation speed, and we kind of got two different opinions on that, with the stopwatch, which really varied during his workout. All right, so where are we, Destin? What do you think Jacksonville does at number 5 if they do not trade out? You gave us your opinion on Genty. Where do you believe they go?
If I was a betting man right now, I think the safest bet would be Mason Graham. I think what he would be able to bring and to solidify the interior of that line and of a spot that I feel like Jacksonville's been really trying to improve the last couple of years. They've took some swings and not been able to really find a long-term fit. I think Mason Graham would come in. He'd raise the floor tremendously. He still has a lot of room to grow as a player still. I think Mason Graham would be the perfect balance of getting a high upside player, but someone that can impact day one. And I think if they are not going to pigeonhole themselves into having to improve the offense with that first-round pick, I think Mason Graham's probably the best bet for who they'll go.
Well, he's been the guy for the last couple of months, even though there's been waves of different players, including the very latest here with Ashton Genty. We'll see. All right, hey, before we let you go, Destin, is it going to go as expected with, Ward, Hunter, Carter, Campbell, or will a team, maybe the Giants at 3, just say, you know what, we have to take a quarterback? Or is there a team that could possibly move up and say we have to have Genty or someone else? Or do you think it's going to kind of go as planned?
I think the top 3 seem pretty in place. I mean, I think there's still going to be time this week for the Browns to figure out if it's Hunter or Carter. From people I've talked to, I think both of them are still on the table. I think Hunter's definitely the favorite, which is what we see in the public eye as well. I think those three are going to be the top three taken between Ward, Hunter, and Carter. I think 4 is where things aren't as chalk for me. I know Campbell is really trending towards being the Patriots pick, and I've heard he's a guy that's definitely in consideration there. But I think there's a few different guys that could make sense for New England that could end up being that pick to be where the draft, quote-unquote, starts and may shock some people. I think Ashton Genty, who we talked about, could be in play for New England. Mike Vrabel obviously saw what it felt like to have an offense led by a dominant running back with Derrick Henry in Tennessee and the AFC South, our old friends. And being able to bring that to New England, I think, could make a lot of sense. So I think Ashton Genty's a guy to watch there as well. But I definitely think Will Campbell is somebody that has a lot of fans in the NFL as being the top offensive lineman in this class. And if that's the route the Patriots decide to go, I don't think many people typically regret adding a plus on the offensive line early in the draft.
Yeah, and I tell you, I can feel it right now in this city. All the people who don't want Ashton Genty at number 5, if some team trades up and takes him at 4, they're going to be burning. I mean, that's just the way things go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the NFL draft.
It is. I didn't know today was your birthday. I just pulled you up on X, and I got all these balloons, and I thought I was still, staring into the sun in Jamaica, but I'm not. Happy birthday, young man.
There it is. Yep. Today is my birthday, April 21st.
Well, go out and have a great time, and you can get everything from Destin Adams. Just go to the Destin Adams on Twitter or X. Destin, always a blast. I'll talk to you after the draft.
Appreciate you for having me. Good luck come Thursday.
There he goes, the birthday boy, Destin Adams. I think that's the first time I've ever pulled anyone up on a birthday. Do you know they did that, Dylan, on X now?
Yeah, I've seen that. When they're it's like you pull their profile on the day of their birthday, it's like balloons everywhere.
Yeah. I was kind of freaked out. I had a moment about being back in Jamaica, man. Yeah, we need to play a little bit of Bob Marley. That's all they do there. And those frozen drinks are just ridiculous. They're so good. And I know you're supposed to sip them, but I can't, man. I just gulp and gulp and gulp. And in all the Red Stripe and Red Stripe Light, it wrap up the night with Bailey's. Great time. I know many of you have been to Jamaica, and just a phenomenal. What I left here on Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, came back yesterday. It was a short trip, but it was certainly a great trip. All right, let's get you involved here a little bit. Crying out loud. Time for you to step up, Duval. I mean, there's so much. It's like a buffet. It really is. And are you going to stay with your standard? All right, you're going to stay with your comfort food and tell me it's Mason Graham and that's just it. Let's just move on. Let's get to pick number 36. You're going to roll the dice here for Genty. I mean, he's the one guy. And I saw somewhere today that it was an impressive name, and I kind of laughed. They were like, the ceiling was Barry Sanders, and the floor was LaDainian Tomlinson. And I'm like, if that's the floor, then run up to the podium. I mean, if you're telling me that's the floor, Tomlinson, he was phenomenal. You can't go wrong with that pick. I was expecting the floor to be, Leonard Fournette or something, not Tomlinson. So, it's right there in front of you as to what this football team is going to do. I love the Genty situation. I tell you what, I also love this trade. And it's just one man's opinion with Tom Pelissero. But can you imagine? As a matter of fact, let's come back and dive into this trade a little bit more. And why don't we do that and give you an opportunity to voice your opinion as well? Always the best way to join us is on the text line. That is 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Welcome to those on YouTube. You can get us. Just go to 1010XL into the night, and as well on Twitter or X. It's Ballou, Ballou, 1010XL.
Get more horsepower under the hood.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, drivers!
This Sunday at Talladega. NASCAR is tuned up by Maxie's Mechanics on Jacksonville's NASCAR station, 1010XL.
MOV, ING, Southside Kia is moving. Our moving sale is on right now. Help us clear new Kias out. Our current selection's got 200 plus Kias on the lot. Hurry to save big with us. New rides starting at just $20,000 bucks. Plus, bring your tax refund today. We'll double it up to $5K. MOV, ING, get to Southside Kia this spring. Online at SouthsideKiaJax.com. Get your next ride at Southside. For complete details, call 904-325-9208.
David Lane here, and once again, I'm happy to share news of my successful back and knee surgeries at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Whatever it is that's bothering you, take it from me. Simply set an appointment today at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and let them help you get back to normal life. I'm certainly glad I did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Denny Thompson here. If you haven't heard, Tyson Sound & Security has a house built right inside their showroom, showcasing complete home automation and security systems. You have to see it to believe it. This setup can recognize intruders who approach your door and alerts them to leave if there's a break-in. Keep your family safe with the most state-of-the-art technology. Tyson Sound & Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming Island.
Plumbing problem? AC not blowing cool? Septic tank backing up? No need to call 3 different companies, just call Duck Duck Rooter. At Duck Duck Rooter, we do it all. Plumbing, septic, and air conditioning with expert technicians in each department. One company, one call, one easy bill. No hassle, no runaround, just fast professional service from highly skilled techs who know their stuff. Need help? Call 904-862-6769 today and let Duck Duck Rooter handle it all. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Direct from Broadway, MJ, the Tony Award-winning musical, is starting something all across America. Get tickets now to what the Washington Post calls a runaway hit. MJ the Musical, playing Jacksonville Center for the Performing Arts, April 22nd through 27th. Tickets at fscjartistseries.org.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home this week at the newly renovated Five-Star Ballpark. The Jumbo Shrimp take on the AAA Atlanta Braves. Don't miss Thirsty Thursday and Fireworks Friday and Saturday. Baseball all weekend. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball. Affordable family fun.
This Day in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On April 21st, 1994, MLB first baseman Eddie Murray on the Cleveland Indians at the time set a new record for number of switch-hit home runs in a game with 11.
Welcome back, everybody. Okay, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Charles.
6.
Oh, so close. Betty for the steal.
What about the bank that helps you reach your financial goals? Synovus.
Let's see, judges. Yes, looks like we have a winner.
That's a number?
Sorry, Charlie. Remember, a solid financial future doesn't happen by chance. Talk with Synovus about your potential today.
Brought to you by Synovus Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. The number was 4.
What a Guggen this will be. If you and a friend would like to play in this year's Coastal Equipment Guggen Open Golf Tournament May 19th at Hidden Hills Golf Club, text Guggen to the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010 for your chance to win.
He just got a hole-in-one.
Score a hole-in-one and win an Atlantic Infinity SUV. ET makes a putt, you win lunch at Twin Peaks, a Chick-fil-A breakfast, and a Dandy Foods lunch. Thanks to our sponsors, Injury Care Centers, Kingfish Pest Control, and Valor Roofing.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold and silver and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at almost $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar or trade it in for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Thank you. Back from Jamaica, and yes, it was a fun time. I mean, how can you have a bad time in Jamaica? You got some issues if that's the case. Man, they still rep Bob Marley no matter where you are, man. It's like every third song. It's like Phil Collins in the 80s here. If you combine his Genesis and his solo work. Dylan Denmark is with us. Are you excited this week? I mean, it's finally here, the NFL draft.
Yeah, I'm ready for it to get here. The whole time I felt it'd be Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter would go top 3, and then I felt that the Jags would take Mason Graham. I'm now 50-50 if it's going to be Mason Graham or Genty.
Yeah. We'll get to the odds here in a moment. They're pretty spectacular. Really, the gate swinging towards Genty. But I got a bigger problem. Why is it that in life everything is changing and it's for the better, but they still can't figure out how to put water in these bottles, and when you open them, you're guaranteed to spill all over yourself?
Well, they fill it all the way to the cap. I don't know why they do it for water, but they don't do that for soda or anything else.
You know, it's a good thing I bounced back because I would have spilt all over the studio here. And the last thing I want is to have the higher-ups get angry with me on my first day back. But whether I do it in my truck, whether I do it in my lazy boy, whether I do it in a hot tub, I mean, anywhere else that I am a sauna where I need water, why can't they figure out how to do this?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, other than like the old Coke, I mean, obviously not the glass bottle, but the like a Coke or a Sprite bottle, those, especially now, the water bottles they're very thin. So if you're trying to squeeze it, and
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because even with carbonated drinks, the bottles are thicker, where that very rarely happens unless it got, unless it was shook up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, but maybe that's it. These bottles are so thin that, even someone who's not strong, not masculine, like myself, when I grab the bottle, the water just comes flowing out of the top. I don't know. I'm just wondering about that. Hey, YouTube's going crazy right now. A lot of folks going after, maybe even going after one another. It all started, let's see here, with Kyle Roberts, who says it doesn't matter what the Jags get. The Jags, they'll jag. And that's the moral to all of this. That's why I began today, again, talking about Baselli and Gladstone and Cohen and how we just don't know. There's no data. It's all guesswork as to what they are going to do. I was surprised with what they did in free agency. I mean, did you have them picking or signing 10 free agents, 4 of which were offensive linemen, only 2 defensive players, both older than the age of 30, to a pass defense that is absolutely brutal. And it feels like what they did more than anything is they're getting rid of just about the entire roster as far as, backups are concerned. Even some younger players who may have an opportunity to do something down the line, they're raising the floor. And they did that with those 10 players. My guess is that those 10 players all make this team, right? You have 10 more picks coming up. I mean, that's 20 players right there that are going to be on your 53-man roster. That's not always the case. There could be some of these late picks who, make it to the practice squad or are even cut. But, 17, 18 out of the 20, that would be my estimation as to who does make it. And, you look at unrestricted free agents, this franchise, they have basically laughed them right out the door. Where is it? I had it here. Look at this. Devin Duvernay, Chicago. Well, they cut him first. Josh Reynolds, cut him, so he went to the Jets. Ronald Darby, cut him, went to Houston. Luke Farrell, didn't elect to bring him back. He got paid in San Francisco. I'm happy for Luke. He really got a phenomenal contract. I think he can earn like $21 million over the next 3 years, right? And we know what Jacksonville did with the tight end position. Andre Sisco got a $10 million price tag in New York with the Jets or thereabouts. Think he's overpaid on a 1-year show-me deal. Blake Hance went to Tennessee. Jeremiah Ledbetter went to the New York Giants. Evan Ingram, the only decision they've made that I openly question. Okay? He is it. I would have kept him, and I get the reasoning that he doesn't fit into this offense. He doesn't block. You want tight ends that can do multiple things. Still, you paid this guy more than $13 million to not be here. To me, that's a little bit crazy. And Mac Jones went out to San Francisco. There you go. Brandon Sheriff's still a free agent, as far as I know. It's a real interesting way that they have gone about this. So now it gets you to the point of if you are at 5 and you really hold a trump card here, if you really have an opportunity to change the early part of the draft, and do you want to go all the way to 12? That's pretty steep. That's 7 picks, right? The Raiders at 6. That could even happen. If Vegas is set on getting him as a running back, can you imagine just flipping one spot? What are you going to be able to acquire from Las Vegas by moving back one spot, right? The Bears seems perhaps the most likely at number 10. And on the surface, I absolutely love it. Giving up your 5th and your 107th, and again, getting a 10th pick and then a 41st pick. To me, that is absolutely spectacular. I mean, you have number 10, number 36, and number 41 right out of the gate. 10, 36, and 41. Then you have 70, 88, and 107. You have 6 out of the top 107. You have 5 out of the top 88. You have 4 out of the top 70. And again, you have picks 10, 36, and 41. Love it. Absolutely love it. So we will see. And as a matter of fact, we'll get to the odds here. I know you sent them to me a little bit earlier, Dylan. And we watched this. We had Adam Kaplan on from NFL Sirius Radio. And I've known Adam forever. And, we asked him straight up, what do you think the Jags will do at 5? And he said Genty. And it's almost like time stopped for a second because the obvious feel was, well, he's not worthy of the 5th overall pick because of the position, not because of his skills. And look what's happened ever since then. So the latest odds, Genty is plus 100. Okay? If you're going to make $100 on it. That's it. You lay 100, you're going to get 100. Mason Grant's plus 140. You lay 100, you're going to get $140. It's been a long time since anyone's been ahead of Mason Grant. And that's where it is right now. Plus 100 to plus 140. Jalen Walker, who's kind of like the silent assassin here. I think there hasn't been enough talk about Jalen Walker, or at least I haven't had enough talk about Jalen Walker. That really could be the pick. We just don't know that. And he's plus 750. Again, there's been nothing said about Mason Graham. And just think of how tight the Miller Electric Center has been. There have been no leaks. And I get it, Gladstone's new, and Cohen is new. Baselli's not new. All right? He's been around here forever. There are a lot of folks who are friends with Tony Baselli. I happen to be one of them. He is not saying anything. And I admire him for respecting the job, because it would be so easy to whisper something here, to whisper something there, even in a smokescreen type of setting. But it doesn't feel like this organization is doing that at all. They didn't bring anyone in for a visit. They're not tipping their hand either way. They're not talking about individual players. Just trying to do the best that you can to figure out why they would go in this direction. And I'm going to get to something on the screen game here and the offense, which I think does set things up well for Genty. Could also set up things well for an offensive lineman. I mean, what if they traded from 5 to 10 and selected Armand Membu? Again, that's not going to be a splash in town. People are going to be like, who? Where did he play? Missouri? What? I mean, it's not going to be anything that moves the needle. It'll be incredibly boring, right? Genty would be anything but. Genty's going to be your biggest splash. You don't want to be a bigger splash than Genty would be if they could get Travis Hunter. And the only way you're going to get Travis Hunter is the trade up. You're not going to be able to get him at 5. But I think Genty would be the biggest splash. I think McMillan would be number 2. I think McMillan would even be over Mason Graham, because Mason Graham has been out there for so long. It's kind of like back in the days when recruiting was real, right? And you got the early recruit that committed, but he did so, when you only had that one signing day, the first Wednesday of February. Maybe he committed in, September. And then you get up to signing day, and there's not as much of a buzz there because he had announced verbally forever that he was going to this university. Then all of a sudden he signs the dotted line. Didn't come with the same type of energy. That's the way it kind of feels with Mason Graham right now. From what I've been able to gauge around here, as far as if you just talk splash, Travis Hunter, far and away number 1. Genty is number 2. And then for me, McMillan would be 3. You agree or disagree with that? Anyone you take in or put into that equation, or do you think I nailed it?
Yeah, you nailed that.
Yeah. I don't want to call it a boring draft. I don't want to call it a lifeless draft because, I just made a point about how Jacksonville will get all these great players if they made this trade with the Bears. And even if they don't make that trade with the Bears, they're still going to have 5, 36, 70, 88, and 107. Still got an opportunity to get some really good football players in the first couple of days. All right, as we head to this break, Jalen Walker is plus 750, McMillan plus 800, Membu plus 1,500, Will Campbell plus 2,500. Obviously, he's way down because they think he goes number 4 to New England. And then finally, to round it out, plus 2,500 is Tyler Warren, and plus 3,000 is Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive lineman. So there you go. Very latest there. All right, as promised, let's get your reaction. Several ways to join us. I was bringing up YouTube. A lot of good folks on YouTube right now sharing their opinion with one another. If you want to join that conversation, just go to 1010XL into the night, and you can go back and forth with Jaguar fans there on YouTube. Also on our text line, 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
Tom McManus.
Well, what's he like? Big, tall, shoulders like an ox, has the strength of 10 men.
Fridays on Jaguars Today.
Oh, it's me, all right.
On 1010XL.
Ballou here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
I'm Chris Campione. Veterans have given so much in the service of our country, but when it comes to legal challenges, you shouldn't have to fight alone. At Campione Law, we're here to help veterans like you get the support and compensation you deserve. Whether it's a workplace injury, a personal injury claim, or navigating a veteran's disability claim, we'll stand by your side every step of the way. Your service to our country matters. Let us serve you with the dedication and respect you deserve. Call Campione Law for a free consultation today. Campione Law, fighting for veterans, fighting for justice. Visit CampioneLaw.com.
Frank Frangie here. Nimnik has the largest selection of GMC's impressive SUV lineup and the all-new redesigned GMC Acadia and the highly sought-after Yukon and Yukon XL. Save big with the all-new GMC Hummer EV SUV and truck, plus the all-new GMC Sierra EV. Ask how to get an instant $7,500 tax credit on EV models and financing as low as 0%. Visit the showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Getting a pool? David Garrard here. I just did. But before they dug, I called Clearwater Irrigation, and they capped off all my sprinkler lines so the pool company could just dig away.
Then when your pool's finished, we'll install your sprinkler system back to full coverage.
And now my backyard oasis is getting watered beautifully.
And maybe then, Dave, I could take another quick dip.
Bigger swimming trunks, John. Much bigger.
Clearwater Irrigation.
And drainage, too.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Ah, summer in Jacksonville. Sun's out, flip-flops on, and whoa! Well, there goes Uncle Bob into the pool again. Protect your pool deck with Don't Slip Deck Coatings of Jacksonville. Their multi-layered slip-resistant coatings keep you on your feet, not on your backside. Durable, stylish, and way cheaper than an ER visit. Don't Slip Deck Coatings even has indoor options so your kitchen floor isn't a skating rink. Call 904-466-1839 for a free quote and follow Don't Slip Jacks on Facebook and Instagram.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you become more active, reach your weight loss goals, and find your inner strength. Membership at the Y includes state-of-the-art facilities, a huge variety of fitness classes, and programs for all ages. It's easy to join the Y since it's affordable for all incomes. The Y is a great place to make connections and experience something new. Visit the YMCA near you or online at fcymca.org.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey man, what's that noise?
Do you hear it too? You can hear it, right?
Yeah, it's your air conditioner. It's like a grinding or a rattling.
And it's getting on your nerves, right? Like it's eating at your brain and you can't think straight? But it just keeps grinding and squeaking and taunting and nagging. You're not good enough. You're a failure. Why can't you be more like your sister, the lawyer?
Yeah, I don't hear that last part so much.
Yeah, but it's not cool, right, Jason?
It could definitely be cooler. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we can totally repair whatever that noise is and get your AC working smoothly and silently. We fix these things all the time.
So I won't be a failure?
Life should be enjoyed. If some irritating, broken air conditioner is making you crazy, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. There was a time when if you handed me a bread basket at a restaurant, you better watch your fingers. Pizza, pasta, bread. Carbs were absolutely my weakness. I'd be lying if I said they didn't have me hooked. Then Awaken 180 came into my life. I've been down every diet road there is, but this is different. It's not just another diet. It's a total reset of how you see food. You know that carb craving that we all accepted as normal? That's gone for me now. Don't get me wrong. I still enjoy the good stuff, but here's the difference. I no longer feel like I need them. So when the server puts that bread basket on the table, I just smile, sit back, and say, nah, I'm good. That feeling of control is all thanks to Awaken 180. I lost 40 pounds in 9 weeks on Awaken 180. Hacker lost more than 110. Ballou is on his way, and you can lose whatever you want to lose. It doesn't matter what your goal weight is. Awaken 180 weight loss will get you there quickly and safely. It's a clear path to success without disappointment. Awaken 180 has changed my life, and it will change yours too. Give them a call at 844-346-1800 or go to awaken180weightloss.com. Trust me, you'll thank yourself.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
7 o'clock in Duval. We move closer to the NFL draft. We'll be with you 4 to 7 on Thursday. Myself, Hayes Carline, and Ryan Green, otherwise known as Hacker. So that'll be Thursday, 4 to 7. And then Jaguars Radio Network programming. So, I mean, this is the time you just kind of soak it all in, right? And it's not an eerie feeling. It's almost like, I never went. I don't think I ever went on one. So why don't I use that as an analogy? It almost feels like a blind date. You just don't know what to expect, right? And for all you youngsters out there, don't you swipe left or swipe right, and you get pictures and you look at them. And I got to believe that that's the biggest worry is you see the picture and the picture looks awesome, and then you got to ask yourself, are they using the right picture? You ever run any of that, Dylan? You're a young guy.
No, I haven't. But what the girls do is they take the picture at the right angle and then they put a lot of filters on it to make them look a lot better. So the picture is real, but it's not real at the same time. If that makes sense.
Give me an analogy. I'm going with a blind date on Thursday night. There's no way to know what this threesome is going to do in Gladstone, Baselli, and Cohen.
No. That's a pretty good one. I would say, everything. I was about to say you go to like a music event, but you have a schedule there. Like you don't know who's coming up. Maybe if you go to a concert and they like don't tell you who the opening act is, and you just kind of show up. You're like, oh, okay, this is a surprise, and we like this.
Wild card.
Yeah.
The draft starts at 5 in a lot of people's minds. Although I would not dismiss New England. I wouldn't. Who knows in Boston right now, they could be talking about the same thing that we are talking about with the Bears at 10. Even though Tom Pelissero put that out there, there's a million of scenarios and hypotheticals that go along with rumors at this particular time. Maybe New England doesn't feel at 4 or Jacksonville feels at 5 that there is a difference maker after Hunter and Carter are gone. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. And if you can move down a couple of spots, and in the case of Chicago, be 5 spots and, add that 41st pick, I think you'd be pretty hard-pressed not to make that type of move. 6545 says, blew in my head, whether right or wrong, I view Gladstone as a draft guru who just knows what to do. I mean, consider his experience in L.A. in 9 years. As such a young guy, that he watched that franchise just give up picks, just take pick after pick after pick and say, you know what, we're not interested. And on top of that, after turning around and winning a Super Bowl, after they made trades to get Jalen Ramsey, they made trades to get Matt Stafford, right? They brought in other proven free agents that really became sensational players for a short period of time outside of Stafford, who's still there. But look at what they've done in the last several years. Look at their drafts in the last couple of years, which was headed up by James Gladstone, right? 3 starters a year ago, including the Defensive Rookie of the Year in Jared Verse. Braden Fisk, another really solid contributor. I mean, they lost Aaron Donald. They lost someone else off that offensive line, defensive line as well. And they went ahead and made what they thought were the right picks to fit into this team immediately. So that's the way I look at Gladstone here. This shouldn't be, a building process. I mean, number 5 is a day 1 starter. He has to be. And I think 36, if not, he's a wide receiver in rotation, or he's a defensive tackle in rotation or something along those lines where, a guy getting a lot of snaps each and every game. Let's bring in our good buddy Dave Weidel, former center of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he joins us on draft week. How you doing, Dave?
What's up, gentlemen? Welcome back from Jamaica.
Yes, it was fun. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Had a wonderful Easter this weekend and looking forward to a big graduation down in the Keys.
All right.
May. But what I'm really excited about is this draft.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the work has been done already because the way that Baselli could affect this team without taking any power from Gladstone and Cohen is to reformulate the offensive line before the draft. And that is what has happened right now at this point. Whether or not Baselli has picked the right players to supplement guys that were here, aged veterans and guys that just couldn't fit the bill, with guys that were sixth men from Philadelphia will be the question mark that can only be answered when you get to the regular season, not in shorts and pads or however we practice in the preseason now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and he added 4 players and guys with a variety of experience outside of Hainsey, who's going to be the starting center. But, you look at Macari and you look at Johnson, and these guys have played all across the offensive line. So I think that's a valuable asset as well. Do you think that Walker Little and Anton Harrison, that there's no guarantee that those are starters at tackle? Would you agree with that?
I would absolutely agree with that. They are going to get very, very competitive at offensive line. You are going to have to earn your job. Walker Little was given a job and given a gigantic contract because Cam Robinson was a dumbass.
Dave Weidel, our guest. Hey, honest question, and you just hinted on it. I mean, it's so different from back when you were in training camp. But how can you win an offensive line job if you're not hitting?
No, it's the most difficult thing to extrapolate out. All you can go on is the film that you've seen of the Philadelphia kid. All you can go on is the trust that Cohen has in the center from Tampa Bay. I mean, here, I'll be brutally honest about that signing. It's probably a decent signing. You know why? Because the only reason I was here in Jacksonville was because Tom Coughlin, our offensive coordinator, Kevin Gilbride, and Mike Mazur, the O-line coach, realized after watching all the OTAs or the guys that they selected in the expansion draft, probably weren't going to be able to run this offense.
Yeah.
I was not an A1 ass kicker. I could not move 330-pound nose tackles that were lined up in a shade on me, but damn, I was the smartest guy on the field. And they knew that, and they knew that we needed someone to get guys pointed in the right direction. I think that's a lot of what the guy from Tampa, the center signing is.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he's not a great player, but he is familiar with Liam in the offense. So that is a plus in his column. That checks the box.
All right, Dave, leave us with this. What do you think they do on Thursday night? What do they do with the 5th pick?
Well, I've taken a lot of heat on social media for saying Mason Graham should not be the pick.
Yeah.
Nor do I.
I can tell you're bothered by that.
Yeah, very. Like I said, if John Yurkovic will come back, you can suit him up and probably get more production. Love to see Travis Hunter, but I think we both know that Travis Hunter is not going to be there. If I'm Baselli, and Baselli hasn't told me this, but if you painstakingly rebuild the offensive line with those intangibles that you want and a certain mean guy kind of attitude and personality, why on earth would you go to bat with the running backs that we have on the roster right now?
Yeah.
Why? We're ETN? Is he your guy to run tackle? He's proven that he's not that. And Tank Black, has shown flashes but fumbles.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to spend, and someone, I hate to agree with Prisco on this because I hate Prisco.
You don't hate Prisco.
No, I absolutely hate that little Italian, that midget Italian. Well, Dave, we'll talk about that another time. However, who can change the game for this team at 5 more than Genty, the running back, in this newfangled offensive line? If you can answer that question with someone who can change the game more, affect the game more than a star running back behind a newly minted offensive line, go ahead and draft that guy. He's none of the guys that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Unless it's Travis Hunter. I like Genty. I really do.
Dave, always good to hear from you. I got to head to the break.
Baselli wants to be courageous. He needs to do it. All right, Rick, talk to you later.
There he goes. Dave Weidel, ladies and gentlemen, former Jaguar center. I think he gave us a Tank Black reference, not Tank Bigsby. Tank Black. For some of you younger folks, you might want to Google that. And another example of trustworthiness or the lack thereof. And I can only imagine what it would be like to be a professional athlete, having so many people grabbing you from different directions, telling you that you're going to double your money, triple your money, and all of that. The Tank Black situation in the mid-'90s around here was pretty chaotic. That was a long time ago. All right, Dave Weidel, he makes an interesting point on Genty. Again, it's tough to argue with that point. I have, and Dave was very outspoken about Mason Graham the last time he joined us. I've never been on the Mason Graham trade, right? I've never been on that train. But my reasons are, you've got to fix this offense. And I've been all about that for months. And here we are 3 days from the draft, and I'm not changing my mind on this. All right, let's come back. We got much more to do. Hey, the Blue Crab House. How about those good folks? They're off tonight. They rest on Monday. They'll be back tomorrow night. $2 margaritas, $9 margarita pitchers. That is from 4:30 until 9. Wednesday, $1 steamed oysters. It is a great Monday night. It's great to be back. We got much more to do with you till 8 o'clock.
From the 904 to the 324.
Duval.
Duval's number one for sports talk.
Duval. 1010 XL.
When you think of America, you think baseball, cookouts, military, and pride for our country. At Garber Auto Mall, we're proud to carry every American-made truck at one location. Ford, Chevy, GMC, Ram, and Jeep. With the largest inventory selection in North Florida, you can shop with one salesperson. Garber Auto Mall is proud to support our country, our military, and our community. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. Garber Auto Mall. Proud to be American.
Get a healthy start in 2025. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to encourage you to get healthy and stay healthy this year. They have a dedicated team who are committed to providing quality care. The goal is to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Visit duval.floridahealth.gov to learn more about their health programs and services. That's duval.floridahealth.gov.
For over 5 decades, a true American band. This is America. Encore Tour 2025, an unforgettable evening with America. April 23rd, Florida Theater. On sale now at floridatheater.com. America, live in concert. Produced by Outback Presents.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On April 21st, 1994, MLB first baseman Eddie Murray on the Cleveland Indians at the time set a new record for number of switch hit home runs in a game with 11.
It's game time for your business, and Advanced Business Solutions has the winning play. With Xerox copiers, you'll never miss a deadline. Fast, reliable, and built for high performance, Xerox copiers keep your team ahead of the competition. From printing to scanning, Xerox brings the MVPs of efficiency to your office. Ready to make the winning move? Hire the champions at Advanced Business Solutions. Veteran owned.
Printers, copiers, and IT management. Advanced Business Solutions.
Jeff Prosser here for Lloyd's Heating and Air. Need a leader for commercial, retail, multifamily, or hospitality projects? Or top-tier residential service? No gimmicks, no mascots, just real expertise and hard work. As your trusted statewide mechanical partner and local family-owned team, Lloyd's is the name Northeast Florida counts on. Visit Lloyd'sHeatingandAir.com. Lloyd's Heating and Air, keeping you comfortable in every season.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home this week at the newly renovated Five-Star Ballpark. The Jumbo Shrimp take on the AAA Atlanta Braves. Don't miss Thirsty Thursday and Fireworks Friday and Saturday. Baseball all weekend. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball. Affordable, family fun.
If you're heading to the Og or you're already part of the nation's oldest, don't forget to drop into Sunset Grill. For over 30 years, serving up great chowder, seafood, wings, and cold beer. Sunset Grill, somewhere on A1A, St. Augustine Beach.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com/Duval. That's WM.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's The Mangler.
It's here. Beard's Diamonds' first ever massive sale on all diamond stud earrings and all tennis bracelets. Now through Sunday at 4 p.m. Save 20%, 30%, even 40%. Beautiful diamond stud earrings and gorgeous diamond tennis bracelets. Perfect for any occasion. Take advantage of huge markdowns. Best prices ever. Corporate-owned big box stores could never offer this extreme value, but locally owned Beards can. And it's happening now through Sunday. Up to 40% off. Beards Diamonds, St. John's Town Center. Shop local. Shop Beards.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Need fresh and flavorful lunch? Chicken Salad Chick has scratch-made, Southern-style chicken salad in every bite. It's quick and delicious, so why wait? Come taste the best chicken salad today at Town Center, Durbin Park, or Butler Point at Chicken Salad Chick.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, thank you to Dave Waddell. He says, get Genty. And I'm not seeing anyone out there, particularly on social media, who hates this. I thought there would be more, a running back's not worth the fifth pick in the draft. I am a little bit surprised. Not as though I'm wanting negativity. Yeah, I think he's the guy I go with. Will Campbell is still very intriguing to me. You need a great offensive line. But, Weidel made a good point. You going to trust Travis Etienne? Travis Etienne, Adam Schefter labeled him as expendable. He really is. He's playing out the final year of his deal. Now, I think that Travis Etienne would be not a phenomenal, but a very good complement to Genty, because Travis Etienne can catch the football. In the Liam Cohen screen game, I think he would be very versatile there. And I wouldn't expect him to be as beat up because he's not going to get the bulk of carries. He's not going to get them anyway, even if it is just Tank Bigsby. Bigsby's going to get the majority of the carries between the tackles. They're going to try to run with him. Now, there's a difference between Genty and Bigsby, no doubt. But I think Etienne for a year is a guy that they are really going to value when it comes to catching the football out of the backfield. Then again, you could find a running back maybe in the 4th round. This is a running back deep class. Outside of defensive tackle, that may be the deepest position group this year. So that's good news. But, that's what Schefter said a little bit earlier today. And this year on his 5th-year option, regardless of what happens, that'll be it for him. All right, getting a lot of good stuff rolling in. The Athletic ranked the last 5 years of NFL drafts, and they put it together, evaluating everything. They brought in mathematics, is really the case with everything nowadays that involves football. Jacksonville had 11 top 50 picks and 2 Pro Bowlers. They were ranked 23rd out of 32 teams. That's bad. Tired of these low rankings, right? I'm yelling about the offense. They average 18.8 points a game. That was 26th in the NFL. That's why one offense. You say, yeah, Ballou, but their total D was 31st. Yeah, Ballou, but their pass defense was last. Yeah, no matter what you do, you should improve your team. They can't really screw it up at number 5. 4704 Ballou. If we trade with Chicago, the first pick has to be the Warren or Genty, then an OT and DT in round 2. I have a feeling Genty's gone at 10. Warren is very interesting because here I am all about offense. What type of tight end are you getting? What type of tight end can Brenton Strange be in year 3? He improved in year 2, just like Tank Bigsby improved in year 2. Is he dominant? Is he going to be a guy that all of a sudden you look up and catches, 80, 85 footballs and finds the end zone 8 times? 1752, Ballou, give me Graham. His rush and pass rush win rate coming out of college is up there with some of the better defensive linemen in the league. Last time we passed an undersized Michigan player who already had his technique down, it didn't go too well. No, there's no doubt. And I don't think many around the league would agree that Walker was the better pick than Hutchinson. 0489. Ballou, I didn't want a DL, and then I think that would be dumb at number 5. Okay, yeah, don't want a DL. Bunch of people telling me to play Bob Marley. We have been playing Bob Marley. 0027 says, I hope the 2X Patriots don't make the trade right in front of the Jaguars. Genty, and he goes on here. That is absolutely in play. They're talking about that in Boston right now. Doug Marrone's in Boston. He's now the offensive line coach for the New England Patriots after spending a year with Bill O'Brien at Boston College. Doug was upstairs in an offensive advisory role. But he goes to New England now as the offensive line coach. And I thought that Marrone spoke volumes about having the opportunity to get Cam Robinson for a fairly affordable price to be the left tackle in New England. And obviously it was Mike Vrabel's decision. It was the front office's decision, but you're going to take the input of a guy who coached him the way that Marrone did, and he didn't. So the assumption has always been that that's where New England is going to go. But the Raiders or the Bears, 4 comes before 5. You can go ahead and get them if they think New England loves that. I just don't know at this point. 28-35, Ballou, Hutchinson injured, Walker isn't. That matters. That matters. Absolutely it matters. I'm not down on Walker. I think it's unfair that he's overly criticized because he was the top pick, right? I mean, if he was the 7th pick or the 9th pick or something like that, you would never hear it. It's because he's the top pick. And, I'm not going to go crazy here and compare this to Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf when they went 1 and 2, but it just felt like football people all said Hutchinson. And workout warrior people with the measurables and the analytics and all of that said Walker. And Walker's gotten better, and he's going to be a part of things. Again, I wouldn't force that signing right now with Trayvon Walker. I'd let him play year 4. They already picked up their 5th-year option. I know the other side is if he gets better, you're going to have to end up, paying him a tremendous amount of money. He's going to get massive money. Do you think he'll get as much as Hutchinson? I don't think so. I think Hutchinson's a better player, okay? I didn't show up here tonight to try to annoy you. Just being honest. I've been honest my entire life. You trying to tell me right now if you could redo it? And if it was Walker or Hutchinson, that you wouldn't step up and draft Hutchinson, right? Absolutely I would. He's ferocious as a pass rusher. Now, Trayvon Walker has been used wrong. It feels like he moved all over the place at Georgia, and they've done all sorts of different things with him here in Jacksonville. It feels like this fan base, most of you, is willing to wait forever on the development of Trevor Lawrence. But when it comes to the development of Trayvon Walker, that has really been hurried up. And he's had, 10.5 sacks the last couple of years, man. Maybe those are the quietest 10.5 sacks. I think that's fair, though. 52-62. Rick, I just don't see Gladstone taking a running back at 5 after we did with a 4th-rounder in Tampa Bay, despite so many yada selling prediction, splash prediction, spending 5 on an offensive lineman. I would absolutely love 5 on an offensive lineman. It would be no splash, and I abbreviated that a little bit, 52-62. Love an offensive lineman. Waddell's point is intriguing, though. You can build the best offensive line that you possibly can with your resources. They've already added 4 guys. I agree with Waddell. I don't think the left tackle, right tackle position is set in stone. Okay? I don't think so. Harrison, he disappointed a little bit last year. Walker Little, it's always, yeah, but. So even if they patchwork this together or put it together in any way that you possibly can, how comfortable do you feel about this football team being dominant when it comes to running the football? Liam Cohen talked about this last week when we met with him inside the Miller Electric Center. Okay? Tampa Bay was number 1 in short yardage. Number 1. Okay? There's been so much talk about how Tampa, and they got their 4th-round pick last year. Bucky Irvin did a really good job as a rookie. I mean, just a phenomenal job. And they found him in the 4th round. But there's been so much talk about, being able to run the football. Let me see if I can find. Maybe I got rid of it. I apologize for that. But Liam Cohen last week was very expressive on how they were number 1 in Tampa when it came to running the football. And not only was it running the football, it was doing it a variety of different ways. All right, here we go. This is a quote. This is actually was a little bit earlier today on our webpage, which you can get on all of our socials, including Twitter or X. This is a quote last week from Liam Cohen. Quote, "We were first in Tampa in short yardage, and although I'd love to say we just ran duo down everybody's throat, I can't say that." And he went on a little bit longer with, he went on with this quote to talk about a variety of different ways that they picked up short yardage when they needed to. And that is probably one of the big reasons why Evan Ingram is no longer here. When you put Evan Ingram on the field, it's a dead giveaway that you're going to pass the football. Or if not, it's basically 11 against 10, right? I still don't love the idea that they literally ate $13.5 million in order for him to go away. But I think you should be excited about the messages that keep getting sent from Cohen and Gladstone about how important the offensive line is, how important running the football is. I get it if you're nervous about Genty at 5. I get it. I mean, you have nightmares about Fournette at 4, right? I mean, first-round draft picks not named Fred Taylor around here haven't worked out too well. I understand it. But this kid appears to be special. My only concern with Genty, man, is the guy had he was like plus 30 carries in almost every game for Boise State. Maybe he's just a monster. His workout video was scary. I didn't know he was that big. He was actually born here. I know that kind of made the rounds. We talked about it with Tim Brando during the college football season. Timmy B had, I think, 2 or 3 different Boise State games. And a few of them were very late at night, which was cool. So I got to listen to it in its entirety. He's a likable dude. Again, I voted for him for the Heisman. And a lot of people out there criticized me for it. How can you not vote for Travis Hunter? In any other year, I absolutely would have voted for Travis Hunter. All right, Travis Hunter, what he did was phenomenal. But my way of looking at it was Ashton Genty took Boise State to the college football playoff. If Travis Hunter was playing for Boise State, he wasn't taking them to the college football playoff. He wasn't. He would have been sensational. But no. That's the way I looked at it. First time I got my Heisman wrong in a very long period of time. 0030 never gets pushed back. A dream for Hines Allen. That's the one you should harp on because Hines Allen played like S-bomb after he got the bag. Well, there's a lot of people that argue with that. Statistically speaking, it was not a great year for Josh Hines Allen. I also think that you have to realistically look around the league and then look here as well and say, do these players ever really live up to the money? How many do? Okay, Mahomes does. Hurts does. But how many? I mean, I don't want to go through it again with the Jags. We got into this a couple of weeks ago. I think the last re-signed player around here who earned his money was probably Fred Taylor. If you talk about drafted players by this order, I mean, who recently? Logan Cook? Okay, we'll give you that. But you can't tell me that any of these re-signed players have lived up to the deal. And I mean, you talk about a guy who took the bag. Look at Telvin Smith. Look what happened there. So it just doesn't work that way. And you speak with any organization, they are going to tell you that the best way to win is through the draft. And you want to re-sign your draft picks. I think one of the most successful ways of looking at a franchise, and I'll tell you from the time I was here when the Jaguars evolved and Leon Searcy came on board, okay, from Pittsburgh, you look over the last 30 years from 95 on. Look how many players Pittsburgh and New England could no longer hang on to or traded or just said goodbye to because they couldn't afford to re-sign all their players. They did so well in the draft. I know Belichick struggled at the end of his career in the draft. I get that. But year after year after year, I mean, guys were being moved. Guys were not going to get the max in New England. And that's why Belichick traded so many of these players. Pittsburgh as well let a ton of free agents go. I mean, Pittsburgh here sent what? Carnell Lake, not to mention Leon Searcy. I'm trying to think if there was anyone else who ever came over from Pittsburgh on a fairly big deal. That may have been it, those two. The 4636 is saying, I'm hearing that Graham, his floor is Mean Joe Green. His ceiling is Reggie White. And that goes to what I saw earlier today on Genty, where someone said his ceiling is Barry Sanders. His floor is Tomlinson. I mean, if you're getting that, you waste no time and you make the selection with Genty. We just don't know. That's the problem. And, I mean, how many of these backs hang on for second contracts? We saw it with Henry. Who else have we seen it with? We saw it in Dallas, right? Didn't Elliott get a second contract?
Yeah, he held out, got the contract, and he did not live up to that contract.
Dalvin Cook didn't live up to his. Todd Gurley didn't live up to his. Le'Veon Bell didn't live up to his. You know, Bradley Chubb's been hurt.
Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb, thank you. These guys just get beat up. I'm a Florida State guy, so I have an agenda, but the fall of Dalvin Cook to me is amazing. It is. He was so good in Minnesota, and when he went to New York, it was like, that's it. That's the end of his career. And didn't he end up in Dallas on like the practice squad or something?
Yeah, he was on the active roster for a couple of weeks. Got traded to the Jets with Aaron Rodgers. Everybody thought that was going to be really good, and didn't turn out to be anything.
It is a position, no doubt about it, that when your time is up, your time is up. And the best back in the world right now is Barkley. But again, he did not do nearly enough in New York. Now, he didn't have a quarterback, he didn't have a good team, and he was injured. In Philadelphia, I mean, it's never going to be considered a gamble now because the guy went north of 2,000 yards and won a Super Bowl. Okay, that bet, that debt's been paid. You won a Super Bowl. But I'm sure there were some times where it was like, really? You're going to give this amount of money to this guy with the injuries that he has had in his past? Worked out for him. I mean, even if you signed Genty, even if you got him at 5, honestly, what's the life expectancy of Genty?
Staying on his first drafted team?
Yeah.
6 years would be great. 4 years, a year rookie contract, 5th-year option.
5th-year option. Him re-signing here, those chances, without even stepping on the NFL field, is far less than 50%. Where if you got Mason Graham or if you got, Jalen Walker, the chances would be a lot higher. And it's not because of the player, it's because of the position. Running backs are not coveted in this league. And people just spit out Barkley. Well, take a step back. I just went through a ton of backs. It doesn't work in that dominant. I mean, this isn't the 70s. In a way, I wish it was. I loved that brand of football. I loved it when it was Walter Payton and Christian Okoye and Earl Campbell and O.J. Simpson and Roger Craig and Lydell Mitchell and Sam the Bam Cunningham and Mercury Morris and Larry Zonka. I loved Billy Sims. I loved the rushing era. Lydell Mitchell. I mean, it was so many great backs. I loved it. But, nowadays, it's for most organizations, it is, I don't want to call it secondary because that'd be an awful choice of a word to use. Successful teams, for the most part, really can run the ball, maybe outside of Kansas City. And people will even argue with me and say, well, New England never had a great running game. Okay, New England didn't, but they used that screen game, 2 running backs, as almost a running game, if that makes any sense, the way that New England did it. With absolutely, you talk about interchangeable players. You think New England, back into the Tom Brady era, was going to get a guy like Genty at number 5? Hell no. They rotated those backs. They rotated those wide receivers. They all had a role, and it worked. All right, good stuff. Much more to do with you tonight till 8 o'clock. Hacker Nation joins you then.
Children learn a lot about life from sports. Teamwork, discipline, and fair play. Values that can only be passed on by a kind, caring, mature
1010XL.
Neck pain, back pain, or headache, Genty Chiropractic has 4 locations: Westside, 103rd, Riverside, Arlington, and the Beaches. Acupuncture, dry needling, physical therapy. Relief starts today. Genty Chiropractic, 743-6700.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When mosquitoes show up, they are a buzzkill. You want them out of your yard, and fast. At Terminix, they know that mosquitoes bite, but not for long. They'll provide regular treatments to protect you and your family all season long. Go ahead and schedule that picnic, because when mosquitoes show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a mosquito problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
Tired of seeing the signs of aging? Spring is here, a time to renew. I'm Dr. Mark Capel, a board-certified dermatologist, here to help you look and feel your best with minimal to no downtime. Rejuvenate your skin, strengthen your core, and sculpt your body with advanced face and body treatments designed to restore your youthful glow and confidence. Just in time for spring and summer. A healthier, more fit you starts now. Visit dermagnify.com and step into spring looking and feeling your best.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Offices in Jacksonville. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Online at CordellCordell.com.
1010XL is the home of Gator Nation and the Gator Bites podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. I'm Hacker, and we keep you connected with the University of Florida all year long. Get Gator Bites where you find podcasts.
Tailgaters parking season passes are on sale now. Secure your Jaguar season parking today. Enjoy indoor restrooms, a full-service bar and grill, access 4 hours before kickoff. Visit tailgatorsparking.com and book your space today.
Reclaim a pain-free life with Rebound Rehab. If you've been injured or simply feeling the effects of an active life, you can rely on Rebound Rehabilitation to get you back in the game. Sitting on the sidelines isn't any fun. Trust Rebound Rehab's team of trained physical therapists to get you back up to speed and feeling full again. Now more convenient than ever. 11 locations to serve you, including new offices in Riverside across from St. Vincent's, Point Meadows, and Middleburg. Just log on to reboundrehab.com to see all they've got to offer.
What is the smallest NFL stadium? The answer coming up.
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Soldier Field in Chicago is not only the smallest, but is also the oldest, built originally in 1924.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Your home is more than walls and a roof. It's where you breathe, drink, and power through life. At Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to keep it all running smoothly. From clean, cool air to clean water, reliable power to expert plumbing, we do it all. For over 35 years, families have trusted Donovan to make their homes healthier, safer, and more comfortable. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing today, 904-270-COOL, where health meets home.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron. Totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens. Also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
Direct from Broadway, MJ, the Tony Award-winning musical, is starting something all across America. Get tickets now to what the Washington Post calls a runaway hit. MJ the Musical, playing Jacksonville Center for the Performing Arts, April 22nd through 27th. Tickets at fscjartistseries.org.
Attention Florida homeowners, for 1 month only. Save big with Renewal by Anderson. Get $300 off every window and $825 off all patio doors. Plus, call now and ask about our brand new Ensemble entry door system. But hurry, this limited time offer won't last. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com today to schedule your free design consultation. That's bestwindowsflorida.com. Renewal by Anderson, your trusted window and door experts. Superior products, exceptional service. License number CGC 1527613.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Well, the rage is the draft, and it's here. It's going to be a phenomenal week, and what's great about this is we just don't know. And I'm kind of into excitement. We're in such a need-to-know basis now. You know, you got to be first. Doesn't matter if you're incorrect. Just be first, and we're just trying to figure out what this organization is going to do. I'd love to sit here and tell you I think they're in good hands. Really trust Gladstone in his 9 years in L.A. And again, learning from both sides of giving up picks and bringing in proven veterans and then putting it all on the draft. It's not like they overspent in free agency. It's not like they went out and brought in guys that were talked about in other markets. But now it's all over, and most of it is around Genty. Could he possibly be the guy at 5? Some odds now across across the underbelly, if you will, have Genty is all of a sudden the leader in the clubhouse, which is amazing to me considering Mason Graham has been there forever. Don't know if this is a smokescreen. Don't know what to expect. Imagine if the Raiders needed him and moved up one spot with Jacksonville at 5. And then again, those reports that are out today, they mentioned the Bears and the Cowboys at 10 and 12 respectively. Even Tom Pelissaro's report about Jacksonville trading with Chicago, Jacksonville going from 5 to 10. The Jaguars also giving up pick 107. The Bears would send over their pick in the second round, which is selection number 41. That is an interesting proposition right now. I do think I would rather have 10 and 41 than Genty. I do. But you know what? That's like 50.5 to 49.5. That is right there for a solid debate. You're moving down 5 spots, so you're going to get a really good player there. You're going to get an offensive lineman or a wide receiver at 10. I just think that with Liam Cohen and the way that he had success with Bucky Irvin a year ago, you can still find a running back in a very good running back class. But what haunts you, and it would haunt me if I had to make this pick, which I'm not, as you know. What if Genty really is the guy? And that's what makes this job so hard. I mean, they talked about it last week. They want to be remembered for this first pick. They want to be remembered for the 5th overall pick in the draft. And if you get Genty and he's all that, then this is going to be looked back on as something that was absolutely spectacular. Probably going back to their first draft. If you look at drafts that have been really memorable around here, I mean, obviously Baselli and then Fred Taylor. Who else after that in the first round? I mean, there's been some good picks. Rasheed Mathis, MJD. I mean, a lot of really good picks. But, I mean, Trevor Lawrence isn't memorable yet. Trayvon Walker's not memorable yet. So that's what they have to consider. And we will find out early on Thursday night.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
All right, it kind of feels like the draft begins right here in Duval on Thursday night.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, all indications are Cam Ward, some combination of Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, and then potentially Will Campbell at 4. And a lot of people are guessing as to what the Jaguars are going to do. And one of my talking points tonight, I give credit to James Gladstone and Liam Cohen, because for a first-year GM and a first-year head coach, there's not a lot of information being leaked out of that building. There's a lot of guessing going on as to what those guys are going to do right now.
Yeah, there's nothing coming out of there.
It's pretty impressive.
It is. And, you know, we don't have any trends. We don't have any patterns. We don't know. It's all guesses and, you know, as to what this organization is going to do. But what do you think about the Bears or the Cowboys or even the Raiders at 6? All this talk all of a sudden that those 3 teams need to move up to get Genty at 5.
Yeah, I don't think the Jaguars are going to take Genty because, Rick, I think if the Jaguars were going to take him, we would not have known about it.
Mm-hmm.
It got too loud too quick. It's almost as if the signal was sent out on purpose. I mean, there was literally very little to no talk about Ashton Genty here in Jacksonville for weeks and months on end. And then Dane Brugler put out that mock draft, which, by the way, we're going to have Dane Brugler on Hacker After Dark tonight. And once Brugler put out that mock draft, it has exploded like wildfire in the last 4, 5, 6 days. I just think it would have been a lot quieter if they were really thinking about taking him.
Interesting point. Yeah, I almost want to tell the listeners that, listen, if you're a gambling man, put your money on Jalen Walker because there's no talk on him.
No, I think McMillan from Arizona is back in play a little bit.
At 5?
Maybe not at 5, but if you trade back, I think that's the idea. I'm still on the Mason Graham camp. I think it's going to be the boring pick, maybe the bleh pick, but I think that's still where I'm at right now.
All right, what do you got coming up tonight?
You know, I mentioned Dane Brugler, the Athletic. He's one of the best this time of year. I actually talked to him earlier at the airport as he was flying to Green Bay. So we'll have Dane Brugler on. Also, Dave Campo gives his draft preview as well. So it's basically all draft all the time tonight here on Hacker After Dark.
All right, Hack, have a great show.
Thanks, Rick.
There he goes. That's Ryan Green, Hacker Nation, coming up right now. Thank you to Dave Waddell for calling in. Appreciate that. Thank you to Destin Adams from A to Z Sports NFL. I didn't get a chance to, respond to many of you, and that reason is there were just so many tonight. But I want to tell you, it means a lot to me, and it means a lot to Dylan. We love your input on social media. So thank you to everyone on YouTube, Into the Night 1010XL, as well as our text line at 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. That'll do it for Dylan and I. Back tomorrow night at 6 o'clock on your home of the Jags.